Mandala Lotus is one of the very special mandala. We have been doing this mandala practice for over 15 years in Orange County. Now, as you go back to history, mandala is one of the practice that has been thousands of years in Buddhism. From Indian Buddhism, we already had the very special kind of, we call the diagram, the image, the picture of the mandala. Then it's developed in Tibet, and especially go to China and then Japan. They are so famous of the two mandala, the womb mandala and then the Vajra diamond world mandala. So there's two mandala. But all of this mandala here, they either use a tanka, a very big pictures, or they can make out of sand. In Japan, you can see in Koyasan, the mandala is really huge, big. Now, talking about the philosophy of the mandala itself is very much the idea of how do we bring the universe into a focus. When we practice mandala, we focus the element in the mandala from which we can go through the mechanism, the structure of the mandala, and go to the other side of the mandala to enter into the Dhamma Dhatu. That basically is a desire of the mandala, is you as the means from which we walk through and enter into the higher plane, the higher consciousness. Because of that, mandala becomes a very special kind of practice. It needs visualization, it needs reciting of the mantra, but also it needs a very special focus and a very special ceremony in order for us to be elevated, to walk through this gateway and enter into the Dhamma Dhatu. Dhamma Dhatu is the highest spiritual plane. So, after we study many years on this Avatamsaka Sutra, I realized that the mandala can be expressed according to the Avatamsaka worldview. And so we designed a very simple structure of the mandala, because all of the mandalas are required that we have the square and the circle. And there is entrance and there are exits. All the mandala have, that is required. All mandala is required to have that entrance, exits, square, and circle. But more than that, because we move into the 21st century, so we decided that we make it simpler, we make it easy to understand, and we want to base this mandala on the principle that most of us Buddhists would accept. And then most of the people in this generation, in the 21st century, when we look at the mandala, we feel that we can relate, we can understand. And therefore, here is the mandala. You look at it, you can see that the big circle outside, and that's what we call the Dhamma Dhatu, the universe here, the spiritual, the universe. And then the center is, we call the core, is where we call the ever-present light. And these, in order to express these, the elements in the universe, so we have the 5 rings, the 5 squares, and it represents the earth, the water, the fire, the air, and the space. So that's a very, very simple way of understanding how the mandala can bring the whole universe into it. But if we go to another layer of it, then the mandala itself is a place where we can cultivate virtues. And these virtues, if you look at the outside, we cultivate great compassion, a sense of all-embracing compassion. That is the overall theme of the mandala. But we need to get from there, we need to get to liberation. Liberation, not only a virtue, but a state of freedom from egocentrism. And so there are the 5 kind of layers that we need to unfold: truthfulness, compassion, empathy, openness, and forgiveness. Those are kind of deep virtues that we need to cultivate in real life, in interaction with people. But then if we sit and meditate, what do? We have to break through the 5 shadows. And to make it succinct and easy to understand, we say that the big circle is area of attachments, of prejudices, and of egocentrism. So we need to break through them. We have special way of the Dharma, of the mantra, of the recitation, and the focus. But again, how do we move from here into the circle of liberations? And you see the statue of the Buddha at the center. Now to do that, what happens is we need to go through the meditation to free ourselves from, number one, you take a look at it, the yellow square is deception, free from deception, which is telling lies, or even any kind of cheating, any kind of dishonesty. That's the first door that we need to break through. And then we need to be free from physical attachments, and then freedom from emotional attachment, and freedom from any sense of possessiveness. Possessiveness is another kind of controlling, in the sense of our egocentrism manifest, but a very deep sense when you get into the shadows. And then the freedom from addictions. We have many forms of addictions deep inside, and so we free ourselves from it. But you start to understand the very interesting part of the mandala. So we have many layers of meanings, many layers of meaning. And there are the layers of the syllables or the siddhams that we cultivate to get deeper and deeper and deeper in our spirituality. And so I just present to you 3 layers, but there is many more layers of meanings and layers of practice and layers of unfolding. So this mandala here, not only that you practice alone, but this is a mandala. It's so special, and it includes everyone. So everyone can come and sit in the mandala. It becomes a 3D mandala, and we accommodate 1,000, 2,000, and if you can have the ability to call upon 10,000, then mandala can expand to accommodate that much. So this is a very special mandala, and is made in America, is made in Orange County, is where we take the teaching, the mandala, and we digest it and make it accessible and universal, and at the same time, it's easy for every one of us to be part of it. So we like to invite you to come on April 20th to experience the mandala that we feel it would help us to go deep, even though it's very simple. Just a circle, big circle, 5 layers of squares, and 1 tiny circle representing liberations. So see you on April.